Well, at last I got the time to finish my annual Chronicle, and now you will see the second part is from July to December, and I really want to welcome you to join me on my adventure this last half of 2022.
And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin.
And so the summer month of July arrived, and with that I also started to slowing down a bit, working more from home this summer. I still had a lot of meetings to take, but nearly all of them was on video or phone, and I did it mostly for my hammock since it was a great summertime this July. But it wasn't only spending time at my hammock. I also got invited to a business trip in Finland, meeting some business colleagues of mine and a big partner. So I combined it with a weekend together with my wife, and we got time to explore the southern part of Finland, Helsinki as well. There is actually a movie on my channel which is a whole trip in 2 minutes, so you could actually follow us there. When we got home from Finland, the weekend after it was time to go to Halmstad to celebrate the summer in a summer party with really good friends of us that is arranging a summer party every summer. There's also a video available on my channel on this summer party. This was when I decided to start the Life of Mr. Borgman channel, so I started to record a lot more, as you will see in this chronicle. After the summer party, it was time to start a 1-week vacation, doing a road trip in Sweden, where we end up in Värmland, in Halmstad, where I met my father-in-law as well as the rest of his family. Also joining us on this trip was my wife's 2 sisters and her younger sister's 2 children. There is actually a video as well at this channel. I will link it up here. You can see more of our 2022 trip to summer in Värmland.
Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond lights flash in the dark. I know you're coming back, aiming at my heart. And these things never come from me easily, no. But now I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready, ready. Emotions repeating, though it's been so long. I know what you're thinking, I know. I wanna spend all our time now, for better or worse. I know the past is gone, and now you're all I want. 'Cause I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up for you. I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up. I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up for you. I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up. I would. You know that I would. Lights flash in the dark. Just close your eyes and we'll be shooting stars. And you know I can't wait for forever no more. Now tell me, are you ready? Are you ready? Ready? Emotions repeating.
On the way home from Värmland, we actually drove through Falkenberg, where we met up with my mom and dad and my brother and his family. And that was because we're gonna celebrate my father, who has had his birthday, and we invited him to look at Åsa-Nisse, a Swedish buskis is called. After the show, we went out to a restaurant by the sea, where we watched the sunset as well as had a great 3-course dinner together with my mom, dad and my brother and his wife. It was a great ending as well as on the vacation as on the trip as well as July. The August continue with pretty great weather, but there is one thing that is an issue when you live in our cabin. That is, in the beginning of August we get a lot of creepy animals visiting us, especially flying ants. In a couple of days they invade in millions every evening, so we can't be outside. And as you can see, it's really crazy with flying ants. You get them everywhere, so we have to close all windows and doors. It's not only flying ants we also have a lot of wasps, we have dragonflies and a lot of other bugs that is coming inside. That is the downside with living in the forest, but on the other side it's great to live close to the forest. Another thing we did in August was celebrating my wife's oldest sister Lina on her birthday. We did that by going to the island Ven, where we actually bicycled, had some lunch and so on. For you who don't know about the island Ven, it's an island situated in the middle of Öresund, where you actually go by a small boat, you rent a bicycle, and then you spend the whole day bicycling around the island, looking at the nature and the rest of the scenery. It's a really nice island to visit. The celebration of Lina continued the day after with one of the strangest things I ever done. We went to a farm outside in the forest and took a walk with alpacas. Alpacas is fantastic, interesting animals, and it was really fun to do it, even though it's a strange thing to do. Another thing we found out in July-August was that in the southern part of Sweden, in the city of Lund, there is a lot of old mental hospitals, and there is a lot of history with that. I found out that you could actually do a walk there with a guide, and they told you everything about the old mental hospital. The crosses you see here, or the small iron badges, when they buried the people, they gave them a number only, no name or anything on the iron crosses. But there is a register where many of these has been identified to. September is my favorite month of the year. That's because that's when the autumn begins. But it's also the month where the summer and the slower pace starts to fade off, and actually everything started to speed up again, something that fits me fantastic. When things speeds up, it also means a lot more meetings. I started off September with going to Stockholm for 3 hectic days with meetings. When I got back home again to Skåne, it was time for a conference for e-commerce that's called eMeet. It was a great time, and I met a lot of people from Amazon especially and learned a lot. The September is a fantastic time to watch the nature transform into the winter. And so does we. One thing we did was actually got invited to a couple of friends that were closing down the outside bar. And of course it was a great evening. But it also means that we have to prepare for winter ourselves. That means bringing firewoods to our cabin, and since the cabin is so highly situated, we actually have to pack full a car to be able to handle the road up there. We can't do it with a lorry. Since autumn is my favorite season, it also means that I try to spend a lot of time in the nature doing hikes. And it's a fantastic time doing hikes. You can see that the nature is turning to yellow as well as it's crispy in the air. The weather is a strange thing in September, especially in the cabin. In 1 minute it could pour down rain, and the next minute it could be fantastic sunshine and 20 degrees. One thing that happened to me in September was that I was invited to one of our partners for the 75-year celebration as a company. It included go-kart, and as you can see, maybe I dived too fast in some corners. One party to another. My wife's younger sister's husband Martin got kidnapped for his birthday celebration. As any good birthday celebration, even this included a beer pong game. And it turned out to be a fantastic night of celebration. It was just not only partying. It was also doing a big lecture on a real estate fair, talking about the high electric prices and how the system is constructed for a lot of real estate companies, as well as other interesting energies. It was something I did in cooperation with an association I'm a member of, an association that has focused on companies and people that are active in the refrigerant industry. October came, and October started off with me going down to Antibes in France, together with a couple of CEOs that are part of a network that meet up once a year in Antibes, together with our mentor that is arranging these meetups and has the network that we are part of. It is so healthy for me to have time to sit down with other CEOs where we discuss each other's problems, trying to help each other in our day-to-day business and with the challenges we have with building organizations. We also took time to take a stroll or a hike around the whole half island. It was a 2-hour walk with great scenery and great nature.
When I'm in this town, look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to.
Between our conferences, we actually had some time on the beach as well, and we could sit there, discuss our challenges, as well as we could watch the workers dismount the jetty before the winter season, where everything closes down. It's a bit luxury to be able to have this kind of conference down in the sun, and you could have worse places to work. Last evening, me and one of the guys went down to Cannes as well to just watch it. I have never seen Cannes before, so it was the first time for me. It was great having some drinks and some stroll around the boardwalk. When I got home to the cold Sweden again, it was time for me doing a lecture for the e-commerce park, a place where I actually have been spending a lot of time with GS Energy. After the lecture, I just jumped into the car, and 3 hours later I was actually in Gothenburg, where I visited Connect West's annual celebration with prize ceremony and a lot of good meetings.
It's just what I do when I'm out.
My hectic October didn't stop here in Gothenburg. I continued to Växjö, where the Business Association of Växjö had an annual celebration with prize ceremonies and so on. So I went there as well and met up a lot of good business associates and friends. Back home in Skåne, it was time for me and my wife to go and see the band Wilmer X that was reunited. For the first time since 2013, they have released a new record. It was a fantastic concert.
I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna...
In the same way that October ended with a fantastic concert, November started off with me going to Berlin to Bosch Connect the World. A big fair focused on Bosch, artificial intelligence, machine learning and the future. There is actually a separate video on this that you can watch on my channel. I link it here up above.
When I'm in this town, look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me.
The perfect summer is over in a flash and
with all this traveling and meetings, it's important for me to as well be able to clear my mind. I usually do that by taking hikes in the nature alone or together with my wife. If I do it alone, I have my headphones on and listening to some kind of book, mostly management books or other inspirational books that get me to think.
God tells me you should stay.
Spending time in the nature also means you see a lot of animals. But to be honest, we can also see them right from our cabin, as you can see here. We have deers that is maybe too close, based on they eat everything we try to grow. Since traveling is a part of my life, it was time to do a new travel, this time a trip to Stockholm again. And this time it was the annual business meetup for the Heat Pump Association company. Directly after that meetup, I went down to Jönköping, where Jönköping's business association had a meetup. At the same time it was DreamHack, one of the biggest gaming and computer meetups in Sweden this winter. If you see this car, it's actually a Swedish creator construction, a Lego Volvo car that is exactly the same as his own standard Volvo car he owns. I didn't know he was there doing the exhibition and building on site, but it was great to see what you can do with Lego.
All the way, 'cause my heart screams, let me carry you home.
At the end of November, it's also time to start doing the Christmas decoration at the cabin. So did we this year, and for every year my wife buys more and more lights to the cabin, which you can see here. We have lights more or less everywhere soon. Since it's LED, it doesn't consume that much power, so it's not so expensive to have it running, but it absolutely makes a great feeling in the grey Swedish winter we have in the southern part of Sweden.
My heart screams, let me carry you.
In December it was time for me to do one of my last business trips to Stockholm. It consisted of me meeting a good old friend as well as some partners and also my CEO network. I was down with Antib, had a new meetup and this time it was in Stockholm. In Stockholm it started to snow, and when I got back to Skåne again, it even had become white in Skåne. It turned out that it would only last for a couple of days before the rain came and took the snow away again.
This moment, can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever?
Every year in December we try, me and my wife, to get away and have a weekend at some spa, doing some bathing, just taking care of each other, eating good food and so on. And normally we try to do in December a trip to Kosta in the middle of Småland, where they have a fantastic Christmas market, as well as a really great spa. The Christmas market gives a really good Christmas feeling. This year it was actually real snow as well. It was not man-made snow as it has been some years.
I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving.
This was actually not our last spa visit this year. We decided that we wanted to celebrate Christmas away from everything you need to do with food and so on. So together with my wife's older sister and her mother, we actually went to Ronnebybrunn, another spa hotel, where we celebrated Christmas Eve. We did it with spending time in the jacuzzi, as well as looking at the Christmas show and eating a lot of good Christmas food.
Can we stay here forever?
On Christmas Day, we took a walk in the big park that is surrounding the hotel. It was a cold morning, some frost on the lawn. It was just a fantastic hour outside. It was quiet, and this we did before the breakfast.
Just loving this moment.
The year then started to round up. It got close to New Year's Eve, and in New Year's Eve we went to Falkenberg to some good friends of us, where we had a fantastic evening, eating good food, playing some games and watching the fireworks.
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking?
This, my friend, was my second part of my annual Chronicle. With the start of 2023, I will do a monthly vlog instead. That means that sometimes in February there will be a monthly vlog of what I have done in January instead. If you find this interesting and want to see more of me, please subscribe at this channel, and as well, why not give me a thumbs up for this video. And if you really enjoyed it, let's see you next time. Have a nice day, bye bye.